Hi, I'm Kelvin Kenny's sister, and we're here at Mike Williams' peaceful protest outside H.M.P. Me and my mom have come. This is our second day because we feel like there needs to be a new facility in place for the inmates, and there has to be more programs, for mental health and addictions for these people, because a lot of these young men are going in here with first offenses, drug related crimes, and they don't get any help, and then it just goes downhill because there are no services, there are no programs in place to help these people who need it the most, and then we're letting them down. They're meeting other people in here who are probably even worse than them. They don't have any hope. Their mental health goes downhill. They're not getting any help, and it's wasting their time. We're not doing anything to help them. In a couple years, they'll get out and they'll be even worse off than they were before. And I just want to read a letter that my brother wrote. It was 12 pages, and it was about, the state of the H.M.P. and how inmates were being treated. And this is what he wrote in October of 2017. And he titled it, "Corrupt and Toxic H.M.P. Needs Change." Sorry, it's really hard for me. My name is Calvin Kenny, and I'm a 26-year-old fisherman from the Southern Shore, Newfoundland. I had my first experience with incarceration 4 years ago for drug-related charges, but has since spent almost all my adult life behind bars. I came to the H.M.P. 4 years ago as a first-time offender with very little ties to serious criminal lifestyle. Upon my admission to the H.M.P., every aspect of my life went into a sharp and dangerous decline. I am now only trying to turn my life back around with help from my parole officer, mental health workers, school teachers, program facilitators, and professional correctional officers that all work with me productively inside a correctional institution of Spring Hill, Nova Scotia. I now find myself back inside this very troubled H.M.P. for court purposes. My rehabilitation has not only stopped, it's being reversed. The purpose of this report is an attempt to bring some attention to the life-changing damages the H.M.P. places upon every man or woman that enters this hellhole. First of all, I think it's very important to recognize a much-needed step forward with regards to segregation policies has finally been taken on behalf of all inmates at the H.M.P. We'd like to thank the Superintendent and Minister of Justice and Public Safety for finally taking this productive step forward. Hopefully they continue to walk down this productive road of reform and rehabilitation in order to transform this torturous warehouse of a human storage into an actual correctional institution. With any luck, in time, offenders who are incarcerated at the H.M.P. will have a fair chance at rehabilitation through access of programming, schooling, counseling, and intervention in order to improve behavior patterns, mental health conditions, and drug addictions. If the H.M.P. does make the necessary changes to become an actual correctional institution, offenders will have a fair shot at becoming productive citizens of our society and have a fair shot at a safe reintegration back into the public upon release. And then it's a 12-page letter, and if you want to read it, you can find it on my Facebook page. But that's basically why we decided to come down here, because I feel like we could really lower the crime rates in and around our communities, because most of them are related to drugs and people turning into addicts, and it happens at an early age. And I feel like people who have mental health issues are at higher risk. And if you go into these jails or talk to people who have sons and daughters in jail, a lot of them would have mental illnesses that were untreated or not talked about. And it shouldn't be something that we don't talk about anymore. We should talk about it. And I know a lot of people don't have any sympathy for the people who are in jail and inmates. They say it should be about the victims, and that's true, but we want to try to make it so there are no more victims to people who are addicts. And they say they make choices, and that's true, but sometimes people's brains don't work the same way as normal people do. They have problems that need to be fixed and need to be addressed, and if they go in here on drug-related charges and offenses and have mental problems already and they aren't fixed, it's not going to help anybody. They're going to get out, and it's going to cost more tax dollars than it would to try to help these poor people, because they are suffering too, and they don't want to make these choices. And I could tell my brother asked himself, why do I continue making these choices? He didn't know, and he didn't understand his mental issues, and I feel like if he had gotten help earlier, like a lot of these people still can, it would be different. And I feel like we need to make these changes to the prison to help everybody. And if you agree, then I think you guys should be down here helping support, the cause, the overall cause, even if you don't agree with everything Mike Williams says. He gets very emotional sometimes because this is really, close to his heart, and he's been through it himself. And he admits, he says he's been tortured mentally, and tortured means a lot of different things to people, but I can see how that's true. If we just need more support and more programs for the inmates so that everybody is safer in the long run. Thank you.